Well, Jeff, I think yesterday you said the Roadrunners are still a little bit of ways. Are they getting closer to a game ready?
You're never ready to play. You just need to play. I've said this 1,000 times, and nobody likes to hear it, but it's true. The only reason you practice so you can go to the game and screw it all up and get it on video and fix it. I mean, I wish there was a better way to describe it, man, but it's just the best way to get good at playing games, playing the game. And you're not allowed to scrimmage in college sports, so you're always playing against your own self. You're not playing against anybody else. Where every school in Texas is playing their second scrimmage this week. That's the best way to get better, is by playing the game. So no, we're not ready, but we need to play somebody so we can get more ready.
Jeff, we talked to your coordinators for the first time this season yesterday. I'm curious, with Justin Burke, what did you see from him in his first full year as the offensive coordinator last year?
It's just one of my strongest beliefs in anything. It's the 10,000 hour rule. I mean, you've got to work at it. You got to do it a lot, right? Well, Will Stein, yeah, he had no college calling it experience, but Will called it at Lake Travis under heavy pressure situations many, many times, right? I got to practice 15 years as a head coach somewhere where you guys weren't really watching. For Justin, that was his first time to actually call it. And as the year went, he got better and better and better and better and better. And he's going on year 2 now. I fully expect him to continue to get better. I can tell by the way he just does his stuff. He's more confident. He's just done it more. And he's a very smart man, high character man that I'm a huge fan of, obviously, and I think he'll continue to get better. And he had a tough situation last year. When your third round receiver, who we thought was going to be back, could not come back, surgery was not successful. When your right tackle, who's all conference, gets re-injured again, and then your quarterback, who had a shoulder injury the entire season, and then he had a knee injury before the season, then he had a toe injury during the season, then he re-injures the shoulder in the Tulane game. I know it all sounds like excuses. That's a lot to put on the plate. And we won 8 out of our last 9 games last year in Conference AAC. It's pretty remarkable what he was able to do as a coordinator, all the things that were thrown at him.
To that point, he said his biggest takeaway was learning how to handle adversity in the job. Is that something you see a lot with young coaches, that there's sort of a learning curve there?
Well, nobody thinks they're going to get out to a 1-3 start and lose your third round receiver, your best offensive tackle, and your quarterback, and go 1-3. That's a tough way to learn. So Justin got some adversity times 2, in my opinion, for all of us. That was one of the toughest stretches I've gone through. I even had a slight meltdown to that Army game and said something, I regret it. Just, because it gets to you. I mean, I'm a 35-year veteran. I mean, I don't even know if Justin's 35 years old.
He was telling us he's kind of his worst critic. I asked him if he would grade his performance, right? And he said he's trying to, not be so hard on himself because, the Roadrunners were pretty good last year at times.
Yeah, it's a simple grade. It's really not hard. We won 9 out of 13. So what percentage is that? I don't know. It's probably around 75, 80. I'd say we got to be. Now, the situation, I'd say it's be a hard grade, but for what we went through, that's it, right? We don't do like I don't have any coordinators that are looking at those stats. There's only one stat we look at. That's the W or the L. We're going to play team football. Burke's going to try to take care of Lep. Lep's going to try to take care of Burke. Zach Brown's going to try to take care of Lep and Burke. And we're all taking care of each other in those situations. And that's what a head coach is for. So I'm not looking at top 25 and how many points we scored. I'm looking at winning and what was our downfall last year, if you'll look and see. I mean, we had 3 turnovers against Houston. We had 5 turnovers against Tulane. Critical losses, and we couldn't get Army off the field. Now, Tennessee, man, we can go up there and play those guys 100 times. I mean, good freaking luck.
We talked to Brandon Brown yesterday. He said he tried carrying a few extra pounds this fall, and now he's going back to his original weight a little bit. Have you noticed any difference with him on the field or ways he's developed through his time?
No, he's just like a fire hydrant. You just can't move him. I mean, I sit in there at Inside Run with my brother, and we're like, I see him split another double team, and like, just me being the head coach, right? You got to poke the bear a little bit. Like, bro, what are we gonna do about that? Nothing. He's a freaking fire hydrant. You ever tried to back your truck over a fire hydrant before? I said, no, Kurt. I actually had never done that. He's like, well, I did once. And he's like, all I did was tear my truck up. Fire hydrant didn't budge. And it's a pretty good analogy by my brother. He's just a fire hydrant.
How are you feeling about the depth on the defensive line at this point? It seems like there might have been a couple injuries there.
There have been, but Well, we try to play 9 kids. So when your standard's that high, we'll see if we can get to 9 this year. And we might not be able to hit 9 just because of some injuries. But most people don't play 5, and our target's 9. So what might be panic in our building is really a convenience to most schools.
What are the biggest differences in Jamari Robinson now compared to earlier in his career? How have you seen him develop overall at this time here?
Maturity, ownership of his own behavior, taking responsibility for not only his own behavior but others' behavior too, just being a role model. He's not perfect, but he's incredibly improved and bought in, whatever words, opportunity. Now that Trey's gone to be number 1, those kind of things are exciting and important for a young man, and he's doing that.
He seems very confident in his ability to take on that responsibility now. How is that confidence important for him, or how have you seen that kind of move him?
Oh, just some things that are, his confidence to text me and offer his opinion on things, and just conversations I never thought we'd have. And I told him, we really did a big deal on not only should you be trustworthy, we have to extend trust to people. So I asked everybody on the team to try to pick one person that had crossed their heart, of maybe someone that deserved to be given some trust, that hadn't fully earned it. They were close, but they hadn't fully earned it. Just extend some trust. And for whatever reason, the Lord put Jamori on my heart, and I told him that. I told him. And I'm really doing my best to extend more trust to Jamori and see if we can keep maturing him.
Is there pressure on him to try and duplicate the numbers? Those are big numbers to try and...
JJ, it's such a culture pillar violation. I mean, we're not result driven. We're going to trust the process. Once you do that, and all you're trying to do is get sacks like Trey Moore, like Clarence Hicks, which is human nature. I'm not dare saying your question's not a good question, because it is a good question. But that's when you don't play run defense correctly. That's when you're not running the pressure correctly. You're doing what's best for you, and you're not going under to allow maybe the defensive tackle to make the sack, or whatever that might look like in the pressure scheme. Not every one of them is designed for him to get home. Now, obviously, he's one of our best pass rushers, so we've got a lot of things for him. But I think you got to be careful there about that. Do I think he feels that? Probably, because I imagine everybody says that kind of stuff to him, because he's playing that position. And those guys all know the history of this program. We've had a guy with double-digit sacks. I don't know how many times, but quite often.
All right, Jeff.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thanks.